Good day, I'm Charlotte C. and today I'm tackling about the parts of the respiratory system. The first one is the nose and nasal cavity. The nose is the primary opening for the respiratory system made of bone, muscle, and cartilage. The nasal cavity is the cavity within the nose filled with mucous membranes and hairs. The machine shorthand for nose is initial TPH, vowel O, final S. And for the nasal cavity is initial TPH, vowel A, final S, initial S, vowel A, final L, initial K, vowel A, initial B, vowel EU, initial T, vowel EU. Pharynx. Pharynx is also called the throat. It's a funnel of a muscle that extends from the respiratory openings to the esophagus and the larynx. The machine shorthand for pharynx is initial P, vowel A, final R, vowel EU, final PB, initial K, final S. Larynx. Larynx is also known as the voice box. The larynx is situated below the pharynx in the anterior portion of the neck. The machine shorthand for larynx is initial HR, vowel A, final R, vowel EU, final PB, initial K, final S. Trachea. Trachea is also known as the windpipe. The trachea is a tube made of cartilage rings that are lined with pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. The machine shorthand for trachea is initial TR, vowel A, final BG, vowel EA. Bronchi. Bronchi is a tube stemming off of the end of the trachea. Each tube is connected to a lung. The machine shorthand for bronchi is initial PWR, vowel O, final PB, initial K, vowel EU. Alveoli. Alveoli are the hollow individual cavities that are found within the alveolar sacs. The machine shorthand for alveoli is initial vowel A, final HR, initial B, vowel U, initial HR, vowel EU. And the last one is the diaphragm. The diaphragm is an important muscle of respiration which is situated beneath the lungs. The machine shorthand for diaphragm is initial D, vowel EUA, initial FR, vowel A, final M.
Hi, my name is Hannah Marie Zaballero and I'm reporting for the diseases in respiratory. The first one is asthma, caused by bronchospasm, dyspnea, coughing, and wheezing. Asthma can occur during the day or at night. Coughing may increase when they are exposed to asthma triggers or allergy like dust or strong fragrance. The machine shorthand for asthma is for vowel A, final S, and initial PH and vowel A. Next is bronchitis. Bronchitis is a condition that causes inflammation of the mucous lining within the one lung or bronch. Bronchitis, the machine shorthand for bronchitis is initial PWR, vowel O, final PB, initial K, vowel EU, initial T, vowel EU, and final S. Emphysema, a chronic lung condition characterized by destructions of alveolar walls. The machine shorthand for emphysema, initial PH, initial P, vowel EU, initial S, vowel E, initial PH, vowel A. Lung cancer, commonly associated with smokers. Lung cancer can be treated by surgery, chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and also by targeted therapy. That's all.
I'm Gina Spiritu, tackling all about the terms in respiratory system. Cilia, the thin hairs located just inside the nostrils. The machine shorthand for cilia is initial S, vowel EU, final LA. Croup, an acute respiratory syndrome in children and infants characterized by obstruction of the larynx, hoarseness, and a barking cough. The machine shorthand for croup is initial KR, vowel U, final P. Cyanosis, a bluish discoloration or the skin caused by a lack of adequate oxygen. The machine shorthand for cyanosis is initial S, vowel EUA, initial TPH, vowel O, initial S, final S. Emphysema, the progressive loss of lung function that is commonly attributed to long-term smoking. The machine shorthand for emphysema is initial PH, initial P, vowel EU, initial S, vowel E, initial PH, vowel A. Emphysema, the progressive loss of lung function that is commonly attributed to long-term smoking. The machine shorthand for emphysema is initial PH, initial P, vowel EU, vowel E, initial PH, vowel A. Asthma, a chronic allergic disorder characterized by episodes of severe breathing, difficulty, coughing, and wheezing. The machine shorthand for asthma is vowel A, final S, initial PH, vowel A. Eupnea, easy or normal breathing. The machine shorthand for eupnea, vowel U, final P, initial PPH, vowel EUA.
I'm Darlene Jean Concepcion, and I'll have a continuation of the respiratory terms. The first one is the alveoli, the very small grade-like clusters found at the end bronchial. The machine shorthand for alveoli is vowel A, final L, initial SR, vowel EUO, initial SHR, vowel EU. Apnea, the absence of spontaneous respiration. The machine shorthand for apnea is vowel A, final P, initial TPH, vowel EUA. Aphonia, the loss of the ability of the larynx to produce normal speech. The machine shorthand for aphonia is vowel A, final P, vowel O, final PB, vowel EUA. Pleura, a thin, moist, and slippery membrane that covers the outer surface of the lungs and lines the inner surface of the rib cage. The machine shorthand for pleura is initial PHR, vowel EU, initial R, vowel A. Sputum, phlegm ejected through the mouth that can be examined for diagnostic purposes. The machine shorthand for sputum is initial SP, vowel U, initial T, vowel U, final M. Bronchi, form where the trachea divides into two branches known as the primary bronchi. The machine shorthand for bronchi is initial PWR, vowel O, final PB, initial K, vowel EU. Anoxia, the absence or nearly complete absence of oxygen from the body's gases, blood, or tissues. The machine for final BGS, vowel EUA.
I am Christy Sayaan. I will continue medical terms in the respiratory system. First is the larynx. The voice box is a triangular chamber located between the pharynx and the trachea. The machine shorthand of the larynx is initial HR, vowel A, final R. Next is left lung, has two lobes, superior and inferior. The machine shorthand of the left lung, left is the initial HR, vowel E, final F. For the lungs is initial HR, vowel U, and final PVG. Lobar pneumonia affects larger areas of the lungs, often including one or more sections or lobes of a lungs. The machine shorthand of the lobar pneumonia is initial HR, vowel O, initial PW, vowel A, final R, initial TPH, vowel U, final M, vowel O, final B, PB, and vowel EUA. Maxillary. Located in the maxillary bones, an infection here can cause pain in the posterior maxillary teeth. The machine shorthand of the maxillary is initial PH, vowel A, final BG, initial S, vowel EUA, final R, vowel EU. I'm Hernalyn Paharin and I will continue the medical term for respiratory system. Mediastinum, the cavity located between the lungs that contains the heart, aorta, esophagus, trachea, bronchial tubes, and thymus gland. The machine shorthand for mediastinum is initial PH, vowel E, final D, vowel EUA, final S, initial T, vowel EU, final PB, vowel U, final M. Mucous membranes, the specialized tissues that line respiratory, digestive, reproductive, and urinary system. The machine shorthand for mucous membrane is initial PH, vowel U, initial K, vowel U, final S, initial PH, vowel E, final M, initial PWR, vowel A, final PB. Mucus, secreted by the mucous membrane. The machine shorthand for mucus is initial PH, vowel U, initial K, vowel U, final S. Mycoplasma pneumonia, a milder but longer-lasting form of the disease caused by the bacteria Mycoplasma pneumonia. The machine shorthand for mycoplasma is initial PH, vowel EU, initial K, vowel O, initial PHR, vowel A, final S, initial PH, vowel A. Pulmonary edema, an accumulation of fluid in lung tissue. The machine shorthand for pulmonary edema is initial P, vowel U, final L, initial PH, vowel O, initial TPH, vowel A, final R, vowel EU.
Hi, I'm Micaela Agrigado and I will discuss the abbreviation of respiratory system. First, the ABG or arterial blood gas. The machine shorthand of ABG is vowel A, final BG. The next is ABR or absolute bed rest. The machine shorthand of ABR are vowel A, final B, and initial R. BP or blood pressure. The machine shorthand of BP is initial PW, final B. CBC or complete blood count. The machine shorthand of CBC is initial K, final P. COPD or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The machine shorthand of COPD is initial K, vowel O, final PD. CPAP or continuous positive airway pressure. The machine shorthand of CPAP is initial K, final P, vowel A, final P. FPS or fasting blood sugar. The machine shorthand of FPS is initial TP, final BS. FF or force feeding or forced fluid. The machine shorthand of FF is initial TP, final F.
I am Elma Borja and I will be discussing the continuation of abbreviation in respiratory system. NPO or nothing by mouth. The machine shorthand of NPO is initial TPH, final P, and vowel O. Oxygen or O2. The machine shorthand of O2 is vowel O. PE or pulmonary embolism. The machine shorthand of pulmonary embolism is initial P, vowel E. PFT or pulmonary function testing. The machine shorthand of PFT is initial P, final FT. SOBOE, shortness of breath on exertion. The machine shorthand of SOBOE is initial S, vowel O, final B, vowel OE. TPR or temperature, pulse, respiration. The machine shorthand of TPR is initial T, final P, initial R. VS or vital signs. The machine shorthand of vital signs are initial V, final S. WBC or white blood count. The machine shorthand of white blood count is initial W, final B, initial C. WT or weight. The machine shorthand of weight is initial W and final T.